Welcome back to another edition of History in Your Own Backyard. I'm Satoli. Today we're in Kenosha, Wisconsin at the site of the AMC Homecoming, and with me is Mike Spangler. How you doing, Mike?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing great.
All right.
Mike's one of the chair people, is that right?
Yeah, we got a committee of about 5-6 people, and I'm been on it forever, so I know what to do.
So how'd this show all get started?
Well, AMO, the American Motors Owners Association, has had conventions here continuously since like 1976.
Right.
And in 1998, there was a special deal that the state was selling license plates for Sesquicentennial. And the cities could apply for money of dealing with Wisconsin history of Sesquicentennial. And they put in that if you own an AMC, you own Wisconsin history or Kenosha history.
Really?
And out of 100 and some municipalities that applied for that grant, we was like number 6 or 7 on their list.
Okay.
And so we did the show, and there was like 5 competing AMC clubs, World Clubs, AMO, NAMDRA, and so on, Rambler Club. And we made that year everybody's national convention. And we told the city
that was 76?
No, this was 1998.
Okay.
And previous to that, it was every club had their own convention somewhere, and
right.
Most of the time AMOs was here. But in 98, we put all the clubs together, and we told the city that, God, we'll have 1,000 cars. And the city kind of told us, there is no 1,000 cars in existence. We gave everybody a raffle ticket that came in and kept track of the numbers. And by God, they were right. We had like 989 cars. We didn't quite make it, but we was
close,
very close. And ever since then, it has morphed from being a club event to being, we made the History Center for Kenosha, seeing we got a museum dedicated to AMCs, right. We decided to take advantage of it, took the club politics out of it, and it was just that we can say it's the History Center show. Anything that was a pain to do for a national meet, such as having a host hotel or having judging and all that stuff, got rid of all that.
Right.
And we just say, here's the big AMC show, the biggest one you'll find, and here's the biggest swap meet that you'll ever find. And don't worry about judging. Don't worry about crawling under your car with a toothbrush or anything like that.
Just here to have fun.
Just come here and have a great time.
Right.
And it has morphed into that, and we decided that if we did it every year, it would become, well, I didn't make it this year, I didn't do it. We have it every 3 years, and it becomes an event, and people are building cars just to be here.
Yeah, exactly.
And so that's how it got to be every 3 years, plus it's a big deal to do, and I would burn out if we did it every year.
Oh, I understand that.
Yeah.
So how many cars we got here today, you think?
I don't know. The last time we was here, we was in the 950 range, and we had a lot more pre-registrations for this show than we had for that one. So I'm expecting that this is probably 1,200.
Really?
I'm not sure. They got to count it when everything's all said and done, and it'll probably take weeks to count it and figure out who did what and whatever. We didn't do so easy as the raffle tickets this time. But
now, I understand you got a pretty special AMX.
Oh yeah,
Tell us about it.
I have Dick Teague's car. They built the AMX 2-seater 68, 9, and 70, and I have Dick Teague's personal car that was his, he used it as a prototype to show AMC what a 71 would look like if they had built it. And basically, they took his personal 68 and redid it into a 71. It's got a whole new front clip, which is all fiberglass. It's got the humped front fenders, and it had corduroy seats in it and different taillights, and it was everything that a 71 would have been. And I got the documentation that says this would have been it exactly if they built it, but it was turned down. But so the story goes, they says, well, we're not building enough 2-seaters, it's clogging the line, gas insurance, all that stuff is coming up on us, but we do like them front fenders, and the Javelin, the 4-seater, is selling well. Put them front fenders and stuff on a Javelin, and you got a deal. So bits and pieces of the car made production, but not the car as a whole. And so it's a unique car. Most prototypes are destroyed, but Dick wanted to build a whole new car for 71. They wouldn't allow it because of cost. So he brought his own personal car into the studio. So when it was done, it was his car.
Huh.
And he took it home, and eventually he gave it to his son as a graduation present from high school.
Really?
And his son traded it in on a Gremlin in Detroit and left town. And then the story goes that somebody bought it in Detroit to go street racing on Woodward Avenue and took off all the AMC handmade emblems that says, I don't want it to know what I'm driving. You know?
And what engine did it have?
It's got a 390.
Okay.
Now it's labeled on the car, it's got emblems as such, and says 401 because it was supposed to be the 71. Well, it was built in 69 if they were going to do it.
Right.
They didn't have the 401 yet.
Yeah.
So it's really a 390. But it's labeled as a 401.
Okay. Okay. So go on with your story. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And Dick Teague's son traded it for a Gremlin.
Yeah.
And so this guy was street racing it in Detroit, and about the time that was happening, the Larry Mitchell, who founded the AMX Club International, which was one of the things that had been here in 2002. Anyway, Larry Mitchell had been talking to Dick Teague, the designer, and Dick told him, he says, well, my son just traded in the prototype for 71, and Larry's like, what? There's a prototype? Larry was a car dealer in Rockford, called Classic Motor Car, or Unique Motor Cars.
Yeah, that was it.
And so he sold collector cars and specialized in the AMX. So he drove from Rockford, Illinois to Detroit and tracked this car down and brought it home and gave it a kind of a cosmetic restoration, gave it a paint job and fixed some cigarette holes in the seats and a few things like that.
Yeah.
But then 74 or 75, 76, whenever it was, he was in danger of going bankrupt or going out of business. So he put an ad in Hemmings, and it says, "Attention museums, one-of-a-kind prototype for sale." And it is quite like a quarter-page ad.
You've got the ad.
I've got the ad at home, yeah. And he run that ad for 6 months, and he got one bite out of it. And it was a 16-year-old boy at Whitewater, Wisconsin, bought it. And he drove it kind of as any other 16-year-old kid would drive it.
Mm-hmm.
But be it that when they changed the front end and the tail lights, there was a lot of dead shorts in the wiring. They weren't too careful how they wired it. And when I bought it from that boy 10 years later, there was all kinds of receipts in the glove box for towing truck companies for jump starts and all that stuff. It must not run. So he parked it in his ma's garage in 1980 in Whitewater, and I found it in 1985. The young man was getting married that weekend, and the ma had died, and she set out, or the new owners of the house were setting stuff out by the road for the garbage man because he wasn't moving fast enough.
Yeah.
He was getting married, and I happened down there on the right day, and he kind of was a little smart alecky and says, if you can get it out of here tomorrow, you can get it. And I bought it very reasonably, very right.
Yeah.
And we got her out of there the next day, and then it started a restoration. I was like 22 years old. Never had really been a mechanic before, and I took it down every nut and bolt that we could take down.
Yeah.
I had it media blasted down in Illinois, and I started like a 14-year restoration. So anyway, I got the car, and then we finished it up, and I was invited to Eyes on Design, a big Concordia Elegance in Detroit, where they were going to feature the works of Dick Teague.
Really?
And they had never invited one that was not complete before, but they so wanted this car. Mm-hmm. Will you get it done? Will you get? Oh yeah. And then about a month before, a house that I owned burnt to the ground, and they said, will you get it done? I said, no, my house burnt down. And I started getting calls from all over the country. Do you know what an honor it is to go to Eyes on Design? Do you know how important this is? Well, you're going to get it done if we got to come and help you. Whatever. So I got her done like a couple days before the show.
Did you?
Yes. And it did real well. We was photographed for a magazine that first day out, Cars and I can't remember the name of the magazine, but it was done for a magazine right away on its first time out.
Good deal.
Took a couple years for it to get in there, but
Yeah. So, how's it licensed? Is it licensed as 69 or 71 or what?
I had heard before when I was looking for this car, I had heard the legend of this car for years. There's a whole packet of papers where it was retitled as a 71 and all this stuff. That didn't exist. It still had its regular 68 title, so it's just titled as a 68 AMX.
Okay, okay.
But I do got documentation from Dick Teague in a letter form that says if you got car number, and then he wrote off the VIN number, he said, you have the only one, you have the real one.
Good deal.
It matches.
And it's got fiberglass fenders, not steel.
Fiberglass fenders and a fiberglass front end. I mean, the grill and all that is made out of, the grill itself is made out of aluminum bolted together, but the whole front end, it doesn't have separate headlight doors. The whole front end is fiberglass.
Huh.
And the only thing that's metal is the hood. And Dick Teague's son told me one day, I did get to meet him at that first Eyes on Design, and he says, yeah, he got mad, the car overheated one day, and he got mad at it, and he slammed the hood and broke the hood. And Dad brought the car back in and put a regular steel production hood.
No kidding.
It was made that close that everything that was made fit it. And everything is correct.
Okay. Interesting. So you drive it?
A little bit here and there, not too much. I mean, mostly if you're driving it and some little kid is talking on a cell phone or something, history would be lost. You couldn't redo that.
Right, right.
So most of the time it's going in an enclosed box, but I do use it for a few photo shoots. We actually filmed a movie with it last year called Hell City Hitchers, and I pick up a hitchhiker in it, and I do burnouts and squeal around.
So you're in the movie?
Oh yeah.
Really?
The producer of the movie called me up, and he had grown up in Kenosha here.
Yeah.
And his parents worked for AMC, so he was into the cars.
Right.
And he had a book with a picture of this weird AMX in there. And he searched for, he said, 2 or 3 years before he found somebody that knew somebody that where this car was. And he called me up one day and he says, do you own this AMX? And I said, yeah. Well, what color is it? And I told him, and does it run, or is it just a push mobile? And no, it runs. He said, would you be in a movie? Or could we use it in a movie? And I was, well, yeah. I had done some other work with some of my other cars to use in some TV stuff. And I said, I'm really not a fan of just sending it out to the movie because it's not taken care of. And he says,
right.
he wanted to know what the value of it was, and I kind of told him what I thought, and he says, I can't think of anybody better to drive it in the movie than yourself.
Huh.
So I pick up a hitchhiker, I come on to her, and she pulls a knife on me, and I stop the car and get out, and we practiced that scene like 4 or 5 times. And actually she gets out and she's waving the knife in my face and calling me Herbert the pervert and all kinds of names. Well, we practiced that scene 4 or 5 times, and all at once the county sheriff pulls up and he says, what's going on here? And I said, we're filming a movie. And he says, no, we got 4 calls of a hitchhiker with a gun, and you're okay? And I says, oh, for crying out loud, it's a knife, it's not a gun. So yeah, that's my big acting debut. We did the movie is based in Racine by the Lighthouse, and we brought the car there and drove it around on the roads and did some of the action shots with it. But what we tried to film at night didn't work out with the lighting they had there. They was kind of trying to shove flashlights in it. So they come to my house about 2 weeks afterwards, and we did it right and put it in the garage and put blankets on the windows so you couldn't see what was going on. And it was hot in there, but it was dark.
Yeah.
And we had the lights. So it keeps flashing between me and her sitting in the car, me and the leading lady sitting in the car talking, and then all at once it'll flash and we're driving down the road. And they had to say, be real careful. And you don't have to drive like the steering wheel like this, you know. They said, be more realistic. Just it was fun. It was fun.
I bet. That's a cool story. I like that.
Yeah.
So, well, thanks for spending some time with us today. I know you're super busy out here on the field.
Yeah, we got a we know how to throw a party here in Kenosha.
Yeah, you do. Yes, you do.
Yeah, like I said, I'm thinking 1,200 cars. I know we marked like 250 swap spaces, and they're mostly all full.
Good deal.
Stuff comes out here that doesn't come out anywhere else in the world.
And isn't it amazing? After what, AMC's been out of business, what, 30 years? 25,
Yeah, it died in
years?
'87. Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's a long time.
You know, and we're still finding parts.
Yep. There's a
parts.
lot of stuff in garages around here that nobody knows what it is. You know?
I got some.
Some of the big vendors go around to rummage sales here and pick it up from other people that have it in rummage sales. And that stuff only shows up here. It doesn't show up in the rest of the country.
Yeah.
So
I was telling one of the guys here, Jeff Kennedy, that one of the first years we were up here back in '77, we found some vacuum gauges for $4 a piece. Now they're going for over $1,000.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, so.
I didn't start here till '79 is when I started here.
Yeah, it's a good time. I love Kenosha.
Yes, we do too.
Yeah. Well, thanks for your time.
All right, thank you.
I'll let you go.
All right.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.